Okay, so our fourth index law tells us that if we have a base number that's raised to a power, and then all of that is raised to another power, then we can get to the answer quickly if we multiply those two powers. So remember, in algebra, we don't show multiplication signs. So this really means a to the power of m times n. So if we just think about this with an example, let's say we've got 2 to the power of 4, all raised to the power of 2. If we just step back for a minute, so 2 squared means 2 times 2, because the square means that we take this base number and we multiply it by itself. So up here in the brackets, this squared up here means that we take everything in here and we multiply it by itself. So if we were to expand that, that would be the same as writing 2 to the 4 times 2 to the 4. And we know from our first index law that 2 to the 4 times 2 to the 4, if we expand these out, this would be 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, and it would be the same for this one. So altogether, we've got 8 2's, which are all multiplied together there, and so the answer is 2 to the 8. We would add together those numbers, 4 plus 4, and that leads us to the final power, which is 8. So the quick way of getting there, so we don't have to expand it all and we don't have to add powers, is when it's inside a bracket like this, we can just multiply these two numbers here. So 4 times 2 is 8. Let's have another look, or let's have a look at a different example. So we've got 3 squared, all to the power of 5. So remember, if we were to write this out the long way, we'd have to write 3 squared times 3 squared times 3 squared and so on 5 times. But we don't want to do that, so we're going to take the shortcut, which is to follow the rule, and the rule tells us that we can just multiply these two numbers. So we'll go 3 to the power of 2 times 5, and so that will equal 3 to the 10. And you can see that if we'd followed our first index law in this situation, where we had all the same base numbers, we would need to add all of these 2's together, and so that would also equal 10. So it's just showing that the laws are working together, and this law is just like a shortcut, basically. It helps us to shortcut the process to get to the answer. So let's have a look at an example with just some algebra in it. So if we had k to the 8, all raised to the 4, then we know that we can just multiply these numbers. So we'll get k to the 8 times 4, and that equals k to the 32. So it saves us a lot of work. We get to the answer really quickly.